Hello, my people. Back once again, your host for today, Nathaniel James, on the Walk a Mile in My Shoes podcast. I have a very, very special guest with me today who goes by the name of
Audric Tchouani.
Audric?
Yeah, Tchouani.
Audric Tchouani.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on the podcast, my brother.
Thank you,
You know what I mean?
me,
It's a pleasure to have my fellow Leo here. Leo gang in the building. Woo, woo. So basically, just to start off, just a little bit about yourself, you know what I mean? Your background, your interests, and then I'll go in with some questions.
Where do I start? Right, so I'm a film director, actor, producer, writer, that kind of stuff. So basically anything to do with films, TV, I'm there. I grew up in Birmingham, but I was born in a country called Cameroon, which is in Central Africa.
Yeah.
And then I lived in various different countries before I found myself in the UK.
Okay.
And now I'm here.
So when did you come to the UK?
When I was about 7.
When you were
2002, 2003.
Okay. So you was born in Cameroon?
Born in Cameroon, but I didn't live there.
Okay.
I lived in a country called Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Well, so I left Cameroon when I was 2. I lived in a country called Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Then I spent some time in the Netherlands, spent some time in France. Yeah.
Then come over to the UK.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad that you came to the UK because we got to cross paths. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, in terms of your upbringing, what was your upbringing like?
Do you know what? I used to always joke because my parents were strict. But fair. My parents were really strict, especially my dad. I used to always joke because my dad always used to wake me up Saturday morning.
Yes.
7 o'clock. He'll wake me up and be like, "Oh, go and help your mum." And then I'll wake up. I wouldn't wake up at first, right? So then he'll be doing that for like 10 times.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wake up. He'll come in, get water, splash on my face.
If you don't wake up, that water to the face. Whoa.
He'll splash on my face.
I don't miss them times at all.
And then I'll go downstairs, like, go and help your mum. Go downstairs, I'm like, more time, mum's upstairs sleeping. So I'm like, what am I helping her for?
Just wanted you to get up
out and do the chores and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, do you know what? My parents were really, like, they're really put a good work ethic in.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're really fussy and nice, good, strong work ethic. I think if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I'd be where I am right now, to be honest with you.
Okay, so you think that the discipline from early and that structure and routine, you think helped you to be like as efficient as you are now?
No, you know black parents.
Well, I know black people timing as well, but I don't think that you was ever that guy that would be late. I'll hold my hands up, do you know what I mean? But you was always like, you was on point, do you know what I mean? Like in terms of when you used to come to the office and stuff, you'd be there like the man, I'd be like, Audric's got here before me again.
I'll try.
And you was always the one to always say, oh, he's late again. I was like, oh. So if I ever got there before you, I'd feel like it was a sense of achievement. You know, like that. Because I'd be like, yes, I'm here before Audric. So fair play for that. So obviously, I'll just say a little bit of a background. So how old is it when we first met? How old was you?
I think it was like 19.
He's about 19.
19. I was 18.
Yeah.
But I was going to turn 19 in a few months.
Okay. Yeah. And I think I was probably about 25 or something like that.
Oh, so you're basically that's my age right now.
You're 25 now?
Yeah,
wow, that's
25,
crazy.
26 later.
Okay, that's crazy.
So
I met you because I was on the journey of creating a knife awareness project. So I always had the idea that I wanted to go out there and put on programs and stuff like that, but I never really had the know-how how to do it. And then that's when I kind of I crossed paths with ACT. Do you know what I mean? And Teswell. And obviously he was like, yo, cool, I can help you. You know, I've built projects and stuff like that before. Do you know what I mean? We can team up and we can create these things together. So at first it was just me, Teswell, and another person. And then after, you came along and Gideon came along.
And Gideon,
and basically it was just kind of having that youthful young bros. But I always clocked from early that your mindset was of an adult, even though you was a young adult. It was just kind of like how you was. Honestly, I was just kind of like in awe of you, thinking, wow, this young person, like your mindset is just boom, like it's higher than your age, if that makes sense. So you came along and you helped me building the projects with us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wanted to do like the camera side of things, so you always had a keen interest
Just
in doing like filming and stuff like that. And you already, I think you was in the stages of building a film, or you already created your first film.
I did my first film, which is a short film,
Yeah.
called Samantha, and then I was in the process of doing another one,
Yeah,
another short one on Knife Crime actually.
it was a knife
It was
crime.
on
Yeah.
Knife Crime, yeah.
And
It's
then
called,
was that through Barclays? Was that the one that you done?
no, it
through?
was O2.
O2, sorry, yeah,
the
O2.
O2, I think it was O2 Think Big.
Okay, O2
Yeah.
Think Big. So how did that come about? O2 Think Big.
Do you know, some of this stuff I actually don't know how to come about, you know.
that's
Just sometimes some things just happen, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
How did it come about? All I remember was there was, you know, the creative scene in Birmingham. It's quite tight knit.
Yeah.
I think I must have gone to one of those events and someone mentioned O2 Think Big, so then I checked it out. Yes, I do remember. There's a guy called Kit.
Okay.
I went to this like young entrepreneurs event thing, and then O2 Think Big came around. So then that's when I got in touch with O2 Think Big, and that kind of get some money to basically start that film.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's literally how it came about.
So that's how it came about.
That's how it came about.
So obviously you so from the age of 19,
19,
you already secured your first bit of funding.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Your ideas and stuff like that, they endorsed in it and thought, "Bro, this is a good project," and they helped you to get that project together.
Yeah.
So from there, you became like I'd say like a core part of the team because you was always just ready to go. You was always like anytime you were smashing it, bro. Anytime you was asked to do something, you'd do it and go the extra mile. Do you know what I mean? And I always identified that no matter what you put your mind to, you're going to be super successful. Do you know what I mean? So moving forward from there, that we had done the project, we delivered, we went to schools, we were doing workshops. Like even in the workshops, like all of the kids, you got along with all of the kids. Now I don't know if in your mind you thought, oh, I'd want to do youth work or I'd want to give back to the young people, but you just excelled in that role. So you might have come in and thought, oh, you're going to help with filming, but it's kind of like, no, you're getting drafted into workshops, you're actually helping to deliver. So do you think that so obviously we'll go into what you've done after that, but do you think that time there with older people and just in a team helped you a lot with moving forward with the things that you wanted to do? Because I'm guessing you gained a lot of experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? Working with you guys and Tezwa, it was the best thing that could have happened to me at that particular moment in time.
Yeah.
You know, because it was just before I went to uni.
Yeah.
And I was still in college. So and it's just before I went to uni. Because seeing older people work.
Yeah.
And being so close. You know, sometimes when you work in a company, you don't really see how the managers are making decisions at the top board level, right?
Yeah.
But then seeing you and Tezwa and how you guys interacted and how even seeing how Tezwa will talk to the clients and schools and how he'll prepare a presentation, that was so invaluable because when I left uni and I started running my business now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I took from that.
Yeah.
From how you guys ran that project.
Yeah.
But also even just working with kids, and it really, I don't know, it's really humbling. Because it's sometimes I think sometimes when you become an adult, you sort of forget.
Yeah. You lose your inner child.
You lose your inner child a little bit. But also, I feel like you also sometimes forget what you went through as a child.
Yeah.
Because some of these the kids and what they went through wasn't that much different to the kids I saw in my school.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah.
But you forget that as you grow up. It's really good to kind of go back and it gets you in touch with how young people are, what they're going through right now. And just really getting in touch with them.
And understanding their mindsets. Every generation, it changes, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
And
if you're not around them, you won't see the changes or you won't understand that, they're acting that way because, this is what is deemed now the good thing to be how to be. Do you know what I'm saying? So
and also sorry, I understand. Because even working with those the kids as well, I think it sort of brought a new let's say perspective as well in terms of what I want to do with the films. Because you start realizing because we did a lot of creative stuff and it's through creative that we were able to help the kids.
Yeah.
And I just kind of thought to myself, you know what? There's power in this thing.
Yeah.
What if my films can do that?
Yeah.
What if my films can speak to someone?
Yeah.
And even if it's just one person,
That's it. That's
even if it's just one person, because that person will then go and inspire like other people. So it's like a ripple effect. So even if it's just one person, if my film can do that, I think I hit the jackpot.
I think that's kind of the thing that I learned a lot with all the work that I'm doing, is that sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm only helping one person, so I'm not really doing much. No, that if you could change one mindset, then that's great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can go on and change loads, and that's amazing. But it doesn't mean that, oh, because you only helped that person and that person's better in that field. No, do you know what I mean? Because everybody has different opportunities, and some people want to do different things. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I feel like that hub, it was a hub of creativity. We had Little Miss Creativity next to us. Do you know what I mean? We had other people that are around the corner that were doing creative things. So I feel like just being in that space where, like you're saying, you came in because you wanted to do like filming and stuff like that, and the creative side, but then you got into the youth work side, the mentoring side, and then you've been able to use that in a transferable way. And that's why I always say, even like me doing a podcast, it's a transferable skills of when I do mentoring and speaking and listening to people. Do you know what I mean?
True.
So obviously one of the major things that happens, or what people don't understand, is that when you're in these kind of roles, a lot of it's based on funding. Do you know what I mean? When you don't have funding, you can't pay the bills, you can't go to work, you can't do you know what I mean? So we wasn't able to accumulate the funding that we needed to make that project sustainable, so that we could all earn a living as well. Do you know what I mean? Because like they say, you can't pour from an empty cup, do you know what I mean, into somebody else's cup, there's nothing else there. So unfortunately, everybody had to go different ways. Do you know what I'm saying? I went down to the mentoring. I got a job at the Pump. I was doing music mentoring. So I was like quite happy, because I was like, whoa, I can use my music now to do youth work. But obviously, what did you do after that? Where did your journey go after the project and stuff?
Yeah, so because I'm like briefly mentioning, I went to university.
Okay. Was it?
Royal Holloway.
Well, Holloway, wow.
So
I remember you showing me the picture. I was like,
it looks like Hogwarts.
I was like, is he saying that? I was like, wow, that's so Audric. I was so gassed for you. Carry on.
So now I went there. Funny enough, I studied economics. So but it was good. It was valuable. So I did that, but I think in a bit which I sort of not necessarily regret, but I kind of feel like I could have done more taking that on. In the aftermath of going to uni and stuff. I think I went to first year university. I was just into the whole uni lifestyle.
Yeah, of course.
I kind of forgot everything.
Yeah.
But then when I sort of settled down again, you start to go back onto your your purpose.
Yes.
I think that's really important. I think for me, uni, having gone through that first year experience of uni, and now I realized, okay, you know what? No, let me stick back to my purpose.
Okay.
And I think working with you guys helped me realize what my purpose was.
Yes.
And why I was brought in to do this film thing.
Yeah.
And so it just took the time to go back into it again. And I said, you know what, look, let me carry on doing some stuff. So I did A Sharp Turn, that crime film that I did.
Yeah.
Sent it to some schools, did a few things with that as well. So it was mostly educational as well. So it was a crime film that I did, mostly educational. And then there was another project I did called Four Voices, which actually another lady called me and to direct this docudrama on women in violence.
Okay.
It was for the EU Gang project. I think it was EU Gang at Birmingham City University. So I directed and produced that. Or co-produced, co-directed, and she kind of took that on forward. So so that's kind of what I did. And now, now I've made this new film, which is...
we'll go into that after. So how long was you at uni for?
3 years. Yeah.
3 years. Passed your uni?
Passed. I graduated 2017.
Graduated 2017.
Yeah.
So after you graduated, how did you? Because obviously you said you'd done economics.
Yeah, I did.
How did you transfer that into your? So obviously, I'd say we all have passions, dreams, but then we have purpose. Yeah. But then obviously we have a job. Do you know what I mean? So then, sometimes you have a job, and then you have that job to work, so that job can help support all the other things that you've done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But in terms of in London, it's a whole different perspective, isn't it, to Birmingham?
Yeah.
how did that change? How did that change affect you? Even like in terms of like the economy, do you know what I mean? It's a higher living, isn't it? To live in London and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
How did that transition from living in Birmingham and living in London for 3 years? How did you?
A bit longer than actually, about 6 years.
6 years. Okay.
But so I lived actually. So I lived just on the outskirts of London, just outside London Heathrow. So I wasn't quite in the madness of central London and stuff. But no, it definitely was a change because I lived in Surrey, just outside London. I said London because I said where I live again. So that's that. Where's that?
Yeah.
So how did it change? It is very different. It is very different. Birmingham is one thing I've noticed about Birmingham is for some reason you can meet someone and you'll have mutuals somewhere down the line. It's just so weird. Like, every person I've met in Birmingham, there's a mutual. Add them on Facebook and they say, so. So you realise Birmingham, this is my experience of Birmingham, it's a really sort of tight-knit community. It's like everyone, I don't know, there's almost like there's a community feel with Birmingham. And it almost feels like you just get along with people really quickly. I know it's all the stereotypes of, the more north you get, people are nicer than in the south, but it's actually true. Because you'll be walking around London and asking for directions or whatever. Some people don't have the time for you.
Okay, there's just fast living.
It's just fast paced. You wake up in the morning and 2 hours gone. It's already the end of the day. You're like, what? Where did time go? Whereas Birmingham, you can see the day go past. You're like, okay, but So that was very different. But again, London, it was good to understand how that fast paced life works. And in terms of, it's different. I don't know, I feel like people are different in London.
So you lived in both places. Where would you prefer to live? Like you've lived there for 6 years. Obviously, you've lived in Birmingham for a very long time. Obviously, Brum is always going to be home for you. Do you know what I mean? But did you prefer living in London, or would you say you prefer living in Birmingham?
I like living in Birmingham.
Okay.
For the community feel and stuff.
Yeah.
I just wish there was the opportunities of London.
in Birmingham. Yeah.
But
why do you think that there isn't as many opportunities in Birmingham as there is? Obviously, it's the capital.
It's the capital.
Do you know what I mean? But other than that, we can't say that we don't have talent and creative people. And
no, that's true. That's true. We have a lot of talent.
Loads of talents.
We have a lot of talent in Birmingham. Why do I think that is? Do you know? I think it's outcomes. I don't know. I think I'll probably say, what do people want at the end of it? One thing I've noticed in London is there's a level of sort of like money-orientated, goal-orientated. So, when people are doing something, they're trying to economize it.
Yeah.
Or make money out of it. I don't know. It's just, I feel like in Birmingham, we just my experience, by the way.
Yeah.
That we kind of see things as more like a passion.
Okay. Yeah. Then a business and
stuff. So we're not as bullish about it as probably as some of the guys in London are.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe just the only thing really, but
because I feel
we've got the talent.
Talent-wise,
we got
definitely everywhere. Even just in my small faction over here, I say small faction, obviously North Birmingham, East Birmingham sort of thing. We have loads of talent, but what I've identified is that there's no structure.
That's it.
There's no structure to it. There's no plan and execute. And I've kicked through the door now. Come on, everybody run through the door. It's like nobody wants to entwine traffics because they feel like, if I tell people about him, nobody wants to know about me anymore.
Right.
And it's very like it's hoggish behaviour.
Yeah.
Whereas in London, let's say their music scene, when they was building up their grime scene, somebody from East will go down that area and they'll do a cypher. So it'd be like that area knows about that area because their two leading artists have now collaborated. So when you collaborate, I don't think people they're looking at the small print. They're not looking at the bigger picture. To understand that by collaborating, you're broadening your network and you're allowing that person to you know what I mean, to have a bigger network as well. So you went through uni. Yeah.
I'll also say actually, sorry, to add onto that. I'll also say, I think it's how you also see yourself.
Okay.
I feel like, do you know what I've noticed in London? People have this extra level of confidence.
Yes. Okay.
Right? It's like, it's almost like, how can I put it? Because I was in New York because I was in America as well before. Do you know in America there's the American dream? It's almost like world domination. When America wants to do something, it's for the
Yeah.
whole world to see.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like London's like when they want to do something, it's for the whole of UK to see. But
Yeah.
Birmingham's like, we just want it for.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I don't know.
Close-knit
Yeah, it's like, I
faction,
just want it for Birmingham. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you can
expand.
expand. Yeah, go for the whole UK. Go for the whole world. I think that's just what I know. That's what I find is missing.
Yeah, and
Birmingham.
just to add on that as well, I think when people get comfortable, they don't want to move. Do you know what I mean? They're happy. Some people are happy, and that's fine. I'm not saying that you don't want to be, but to be able to reach the higher goals that you want to reach, you need to network. You need to have a different circle of friends, because your circle of friends might not want to invest into what you're doing, might not look at what you're doing as inspirational, but then you'll see other people like, you're the missing piece. You're the one that I've been like trying to manifest. All we need is somebody like, and now you're here. And then when you get that, when you fit into something, you start to realize that, like, I could find circles of friends in different places. No, I'm not saying friends, we're going to be on the phone every night. Acquaintances, having the same vision and the goal and the passion and putting it together so that you can get there quicker. Do you know what I mean? Because that's it in Birmingham. If I could put it in a whole category, it is everybody in separate boats rowing in their own separate directions. There's no mothership. There's no, all right then, I'll go over there with my boat, but then we all come onto the mothership and we come back with our findings. I was able to do this. I was able to do that. I was able to, you can do that. I can do that. Ticking boxes, and before you know it, the mothership now is like undefeatable. When these other ships come along, it's like, we've got everything patterned because we've got a structure. We've got this bit of person here. We've got that person here. The boat won't sink. Do you know what I mean? If we're all rowing together. So Birmingham, take that one in. We need to come together, and we have great creative people. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be artists. You could be a business person or whatever. You could have the life hack that changes someone's life. If you can do that, please do it for the greater good, because that's what we're trying to promote. So I'd say you're a very, very positive person, bro.
I am, I was actually there.
I think you're a massively positive person. Do you know what I mean? You bring I'm not going to gas you up too much, but how did you have you always had a positive mindset? What is it that sparked you to think, you know what, I'm going to be positive in all the things that I do? Obviously you can have your lower points and all that kind of stuff, but what was it that made you have the mindset that you've got now?
That's a really difficult question. I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's a mixture, just a mixture of things. Partly my parents, partly just being of faith. I'm Christian in that sense, but also life experiences, and because my mother always used to say when I was younger that I was like a curious cat.
Okay.
I was always wanting to know what's out there.
Yeah.
And just always trying to investigate. But I think also just having always trying to be hopeful.
Yes.
Has really kind of made me always, at least kept me always stay positive, even in the midst of
when you might be feeling down or something.
Feeling down and things are not working out. For some reason, there's just some bit of hope at the back of me, and it's like, okay, something's going to come out of it. You know what? This is not for no reason.
You gotta have hope and faith, innit?
Hope and faith. I think that's what. I think that's what it is really. I think it's just having introspective, really, just kind of looking at myself like, wait a minute, before I just get into my feelings too much. Let me look at it from a bigger point of view. Maybe I'm going through this now, so something great will come out of it.
Or prepare you for if something happens in the future.
And that's exactly what's been happening throughout my whole life. So now I realise it's got to the point where even if something does happen, I just know that it's preparing me for tomorrow. So
there's a bigger picture.
There's a bigger picture to it. Even if it's not necessarily for me, even if it's like to help someone else as a testimony. Like if I go through something and you're going through something, and I've been through it, I can come and talk to you and say, look, I went through this. I can be able to sympathize with you and empathize with you. I can give you some advice, not necessarily that it will necessarily work for you the way it worked for me, but at least I can be I can be there for you because you're going through that.
I think a lot of people, when people have got lived a life experience and stuff like that, and somebody can relate to them, it softens the blow massively. Do you know what I mean? If you can put yourself in their position, but then get them out of those, show them what you had done. And like he says, it might not work for you, but all I'm saying is I'm just trying to give you a bit of hope and faith that things will turn around. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So before we go on to the massive part of what you're doing now, filming and stuff like that, you was doing boxing. You was doing was it boxing?
Yeah, boxing on Muay Thai.
Okay, boxing. So I was waiting for the second one, and Muay Thai. Muay Thai. Yeah. How did that come about, and what was the journey like doing that? Because I'd like to say you was very focused. I seen you on that pattern. I was like, whoa, you could go on like that, brother.
Joe, you're actually gonna laugh. Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan
inspired it.
Inspired it. Okay.
Yeah. Because when I was 9, you were watching a lot of Jackie Chan movies. I just thought, I want to be able to do that. That's literally it. It was literally like, I want to be able to do that. And then I did taekwondo for like a bit, which is more kicking, which is good. But then I thought, I think I need something a bit more. More. I think deep inside I've got like a line in me somewhere.
Okay, come on.
Comes out when it comes out of the bag. It just comes out. So I'm calm and peaceful, but I think there's a bit of a.
It's just ingrained in you,
there's a bit of an aggression.
It's got that. I feel that a lot of Leos have that energy with fire signs. You know what I mean? So we get that balance. It's like you have to learn how to tame it from early, or else you could go out there and do damage, or go out there and just explode. You know what I mean? Yeah. So to be able to tame it for me was music, be able to write and stuff like that, and I'd feel better about myself. But obviously for yourself, like you're saying, you done. Taekwondo, boxing,
and then boxing more.
And obviously that's a lot of self-discipline. But did you go into it for self-discipline, or was it just because you just had a keen interest in it?
It's because both actually, but mostly because I had a keen interest in it.
Okay.
But then when I started doing it, and my coaches and all the different various trainers I've had were starting to notice stuff about me and my personality, and they will bring it up to me. Okay. Or not say personality, I mean character traits. Either the good stuff and the bad stuff. Like I remember very early when I started doing it. Sometimes you'll be on the pad, you'll be doing it, and you get a bit tired, and you're thinking, you don't work as hard as you did at the beginning. And then my coach would look at me and say, "You're not tired." I was like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "No, you're not. You're trying to take the easy road out." I was like, "Oh, damn." Oh, it's like that. But then you start to realize certain things that my coach was telling me. I started to look at it in other parts of my life, and I started to wait, is there actually something there? And then from there I started to realize, wait, this is a really good discipline. Like if I can frame my mindset in this thing that I'm doing, I think I can frame in anything else that I'm doing.
Sick. So it's like a transferable thing.
It's a transfer, particularly in terms of like mindset. I think that's the biggest, most important thing, changing your mindset more than anything else. Once you change your mindset, you can change anything else. And I think that's what doing boxing really did that.
So was you on the amateur circuit or?
I was in amateur.
How many fights did you have?
How many fights did I have in Muay Thai? In Muay Thai, I forgot the number. I think that's 6 fights or something.
Okay.
In boxing, a bit more.
A bit more. So what came from that then? Like, what was the benefits of actually? Because obviously there's one thing training, right? But then there's another thing actually going out in the field and fighting.
I always fighting. I love fighting, not for the reason of actually the fighting bit, but for what it represents. The fact that you'll be training so long, and all of that for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's very intense minutes, but for a couple of minutes, and you're doing all of that, and it's kind of what it represents. Whether you win or you lose is the fact that it's kind of, and for me, it's just, again, it's all the whole mindset thing. You can, everything that you're working for, right now, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing this for? What's the point of this? What's the point of that?
Imagine.
But then you're only doing it for because let me put it this way. I feel that sometimes we work because we want, I don't know, one outcome, whether that's money or whether that's something or whatever it is. We want this. I feel like there's one outcome that we want. But then what fighting made me realize is actually enjoy the process, because that thing that you want can only just last a few minutes. You know, I'll be fighting. I'll be fighting. Say, yes, I win the fight, but it's only a victory for a bit. You have to go back to the right? Then I realized there's a lot in actually enjoying the process of actually getting there. And that's where the character growth comes in. That's where the personal development comes in. That's where you actually really grow as a person.
I think that's sorry to interject. I think that's very important to track the journey. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because you're doing something, but it's not just for the sake of doing it. You're doing it for the end goal, or the build, or the building up to it. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes when we don't track the journey, we lose the little checkpoints of like so that week I was able to do such and such with my cardio, but now and this week I could do such and such. You know what I mean? Some people are good and write it all down and all that kind of stuff, but for the people that just think, that's a minor, I do that all the time, you're losing that little aspect of achievement. Do you know what I mean? That no,
you did that. You did that. Like you did that.
Yeah.
No, it's very true, because I remember like now I can run 10k and without breaking too much of a sweat.
Oh wow, okay. Right?
But before it was 10k. You used to tell me 10k, run 10k. I'm not running 10k.
Before you even do it, it's in the back of your head. That's yeah.
But now I think I was like, okay, I'll go for it. And I was like, okay, let me put the next target. Okay, 15k. But it's not necessarily the being able to run 10k and being able to run 15k. I think it's how can I put it? It's knowing that I've programmed my brain to have that mentality and stamina. To be able to push myself to do bigger things and actually achieve it more than the actual thing itself. I don't know if that makes
it does make sense, because obviously you get the physical aspect. It's the same with working out, and it's like your body starts to get ripped X, Y, and Z, but it's kind of like when you start to realize, I could do such amount of pull-ups now, I could do such amount of by building up one muscle is helping that muscle to be able to help the other muscles. Do you know what I mean? And that's how our bodies is, how life is. When you're doing little tiny things, you're building up to then when you're at your pinnacle, and then you can kind of be like, I've got so much experience now, I can give back, I can pay it forth now. Now I can actually let me start mentoring, let me look out for that next big thing, or that person that I can identify with my childhood and be like, no, actually you ain't gonna, like the teacher said to you, you're gonna be in jail. No, you're not. You're coming with me and we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And by doing that, even if you ain't able to put them on that platform where they've got all the success, if you can help, give them little gems and little tiny things, when they do, or when they might fall back into that mindset of, loud, I'm going to go back to the road. My voice could come in their head, or your voice could come in their head. Look, bro, how many men have gone on the road? Look where they've gone. Nah, stick to it. And then they just snap out of it. You know what? I'm going to stick to it. Yeah. It's just putting their little things subconsciously in their mind so that it can manifest in their future or whenever the time is. Do you know what I mean? So thank you for sharing that. So moving on to the here and now. Yeah. So what are you doing with yourself now?
Right now, I'm running a film production company.
Congratulations.
Going really hard. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. How long have you been running?
I opened that in September, October. But I started doing the film that I'm doing. I started making it around this time last year.
Yeah.
But then I was working before in another job, and then COVID just has a way of making you realize it. Yeah. COVID had a way of making you realize, actually, no, come on, just
back to the what you really want to do. Back to your purpose, my friend. Yes, you do a little whatever to survive. But okay, now back to your purpose. So you're back to your purpose now. Yeah. So from October, you opened your own
my film
company. What's it called?
Quinton Novice Productions. Yeah.
Okay, I like that name, Quinton Novice. Yeah. Okay, so what have you done so far?
So we released our first film, I See, which came on Amazon Prime like last week.
Okay.
Yeah. And now we've got so many stuff in development, in the works. Yeah. So we've got 2 series in the works, 3 films in the works. So it's just trying to get the funding for it and pre-production and get the ball rolling. So
your film. So what's it called again?
I See.
I See.
Yeah, I see with my eyes. Yeah, I see.
I See. Okay, then. Yeah. So tell the people a little bit about what's it about. How did it come about?
Yeah. So I See it's about this young boxer who is trying to confront his past.
Okay.
Something happened in his past which is affecting him.
A traumatic experience. Okay.
Which is affecting him right now.
Okay.
And is following his journey or you're hearing his story, a bit like this right now, actually.
Yeah.
Funny enough, it's literally a bit like this, where
Okay.
he's talking to this therapist, sharing his story, but then we see what he's talking about. You know, it's not just watching.
I like that.
We're not just watching an interview.
Yeah,
Right? It's actually
yeah.
we see what he's talking about.
I like that concept.
And taking the journey through that. And it's about so kind of like almost him discovering himself and discovering what that meant, what that past meant for him.
Okay.
It's kind of what we're talking about, about mentally and mental health and how important that is to shape your mindset. But
are you in the film as well?
I am. Yeah, I played the lead role. Yeah.
Oh, you played the lead role. You see these guys, lead role. No, that's good because you, like you say, it's kind of like you have that experience as well. Do you know what I mean? So, in terms of like shooting the scenes and stuff like that, like, did you go back to where you was training to shoot or?
No, but I did use one of my coaches.
Okay, one of your coaches in the film.
He's in the film. He's in the film. Yeah, he's in the film. But I know we use a different gym. Yeah,
that's mad. So what's the feedback been like so far?
Do you know what? Generally, it's been great. I think a lot of people have been kind of realizing what the message of the film actually is. It's one of those films where you kind of have to pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
Because every scene builds up. I mean, it all comes in together towards the end of the film, so I'm not going to give any spoilers. But it's one of those things that you have to pay attention to everything that's going on.
Okay.
And then when you see things unraveling, you're like, oh, okay, so this is what that meant, or this is what this meant, and this is what. Yeah, so
everything just clicks together then.
Everything just clicks together. But I think what I really wanted to do with this film was make a film that I feel that people could at least see a bit of themselves.
Okay.
In, because with stuff that happens, I feel like it's something that can be quite relatable to a lot of people. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to something about them past that is still affecting them today.
Yeah.
Especially if you haven't healed from it, there's some stuff that either maybe it's guilt, maybe it's shame, maybe it's just some kind of trauma, some kind of abuse that we still feel like it's holding us on, and it's about tapping into that, and actually tapping into that. Like, why is it doing that, and how is it doing that? So that's kind of how the film works around that. Yeah,
I like that. I like that sense of, obviously it's been through a traumatic experience, and so was the gym and boxing the escape for the lead person? Was it an escape, or was it more, like in terms of the guy? Did he do boxing as well in the film?
He does boxing in the film. But,
okay. So for me,
I'll leave that to do.
Okay, no, from that that traumatic experience, brought into boxing to help the discipline side and stuff like that. Because a lot of people that do boxing and stuff like that, they do say, I had somebody in here earlier that says boxing, it brings so much discipline, not only like physically but mentally as well, that you can carry forth into your life. So is that kind of, in a nutshell, kind of like a little bit of the message? Where it's just because you've gone through a traumatic experience doesn't mean that you can't maybe like chase your goals and your dreams and stuff like that.
Yeah, in a way, it's kind of left for interpretation.
Okay, so it's whatever you can take.
Whatever you interpret it that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to leave it. It's left for interpretation. So
you see, he's very tight-lipped out here, people. He wants everybody go on Amazon Prime.
Just go and watch it.
I see. Amazon Prime. Is there any other little things that they might have to put in? Or if they put in IC, it would definitely come up.
If you put in IC, it'll come up. You'll probably scroll down a little bit, but then you'll see there's a poster of me.
Okay.
Doing like a poster.
Okay, you'll see you doing like a boxing pose.
Or you can type in my name as well on Amazon Prime. Audric, Audric. So,
okay.
Yeah,
you see that? We're plugging people, man, because we want people's things to get out there and stuff like that. And I'm bad friend because I haven't watched it yet, but now he's even come on the show. I have to watch it. I have to support. So definitely this week.
Yeah, you need to watch it.
I'm definitely watch it. So I've got a more broad opinion on what you're doing. So doing great things with the filming. What is next for your filming company?
Yeah. So
And sorry, do you have a few people that are in your filming company with you as well, or you
there is. There is.
Okay, it's got a nice team together
as well. Well, small development team, and then when we're making a production, that's when we bring in more people to come
But
together.
for the development, it's good to have quantity.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's just
quality,
quality. Yeah, because you
know
don't.
what I mean?
Yeah, it's just a few people that you need really just to get it off the ground. And after that,
like-minded people.
And then after that, once you need a crew and all that stuff, when you're actually making the film, then they come in.
Okay, so yeah, what do you have in the pipeline? That was the next.
There's definitely quite a few things. I did a romantic film that's coming out. I don't know when. I think it's probably next month.
Okay.
It's called A Dance for Life. There's a film I'm doing as well. It's going to be called Unfinished Chapter, which I'm going to be filming in March or April. With similar themes but slightly different. Mm-hmm. There's another series that, without giving too much away, that we're trying to get off the ground as well, which we'll probably start filming later this year, which is about a womanizer who's trying to turn his life around.
Okay.
After he's seen his daughter.
Oh, right. So whoa. I like that. So he's kind of like everything that he's done. Do we mean he's
coming back to?
It's a very sticky one,
Going back to his face.
A very sticky one, and this is why they say, especially when you got children and stuff like that, you better watch how you walk and how you treat people because karma is real, and you don't want it to come back on yours. So that is what's that going to be called?
Spiral effect.
Spiral effect.
Yeah, the title might change, but for now, that's the that's the title.
I love that. I'm definitely invested in that one because I think that's a powerful message.
Yeah.
And I feel
it's
like
a powerful script as well.
A powerful script as well.
So far, so
I can only imagine. So that sounds great.
Yeah.
So your production company is flourishing. You know, it hasn't even been a year yet, and you've already hit the ground running and stuff like that. So, in terms of you, Audric, if you could speak to the younger generation, right now. Mm-hmm. So, actually, I've got two questions for you, actually.
All right.
But the first one would be: how do you feel about the current affairs of young people, youth violence and stuff like that? Because it has been a number of years since obviously you came on the journey with us, so whatever. We kind of identified that if we don't have more people out here doing more things in the community, that it's just going to go rife. And I feel like when we was doing our work, it was at a time where a lot of 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds were being stabbed and killed. Whereas beforehand, it wasn't so young. Do you know what I mean? So we identified that it's only going to get younger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, from how it was then to how it is now, how do you feel? I'm trying to word it in the right way so obviously, how do you feel about about all the young people with youth violence right now? Do you know what I mean? How do you think it's changed? Do you think that it's had a massive change since when we was going and speaking to young people?
Do you know what? All right, let me break it from this angle first. I feel like young people today, they're special,
Okay.
Because I think they grew up in a world where there's so much information that exposes so many things.
Yeah.
So I've got a brother who's 15, right? He's my youngest brother. He's 15. He's also in the film.
Big up.
And you when you talk to him, you realize that they've got exposure that I didn't have when I was that age. I think probably because of the internet, social media, and all of that stuff. But that also comes with its own sort of
downfalls.
I'll say it also comes with its own downfall. I mean, it's hard to say with 2020 and 2021 because everyone was locked inside.
Yeah.
But 2019 and stuff. Yeah, I feel like I don't know if it's worse per se, but it's not better. Mm-hmm. That's what I'll say. I don't know if it's worse, but I don't think it's gradually got better. Because even if it's not necessarily knife crime or violence in that sense, there's the mental part of it as well. I think to diagnose the problem with this or by youth violence, youth crime and stuff, I think we have to look at the root, which is where the mentality is at. And there's an African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
So it's for all of us, right?
So everybody's.
It's for all of us to have it to play a part in the children that we come across.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what I think it's all of us have to take that kind of responsibility for the children in our
that proverb is such a powerful proverb, and it's something that that's how I was brought up.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like
yeah,
I said,
same.
we had neighborhood police, we had the neighborhood watch. So if you done X, Y, and Z and you thought, oh, you're gonna get away with it, you could be at the local shops and an old woman will come over to your mum. Oh, sorry to interrupt, but your son was outside mine and he's doing X, Y, and Z. Regardless if I could say, but mum, whatever, when I get home,
that's it.
Curtains, yeah? Why don't have nobody out there on street saying bad, do you know what I mean? Because it brings shame on your family and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And then the youngsters, so I had that discipline. So my youngers in the area, I'd discipline them. If a lot of them don't have no father figures or any role models, so I'll be kind of things like, you don't go to people's yards. You know, that's a written rule. You don't go to people's yards. When you go to people's yards, all the rules are out the window. Somebody wants to come out and lick you down with a bat, but that's fine because you've gone to their property. Do you know what I mean? Even just like having respect for the elders. So when you see an old vulnerable person walking past, don't be so loud and boisterous and whatever, because a lot of them, they've got fear. They don't even want to come to the shops because there's 10 young people outside the shops. I was dropping little gems that I didn't realise was having such a massive effect on the young people, but that was listening, that was saying, when I left my area, that's when I started to realise, my area's gone downhill, like that. Even conversations that I have with young people where they'll be like, when you moved, you don't understand, a lot of things change. It's like the filter had gone. And it's like this with this generation now, and with the social media, the filter has gone.
Exactly. That's the right word, filter.
The filter.
Yeah.
Even like certain like sexual videos, you can go on YouTube, boom, you can watch it there and then.
YouTube, on Instagram, like I just turned Instagram, I see, I'm like, what's this?
that Boss It challenge. Boss It, you know, man, so watch it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa. So if we're like that, what are the kids like? Do you know what I mean?
They're seeing it.
Kids that shouldn't even be looking at grown women shaking their ass like that. Do you know what I mean?
And like you said, it comes on like unintentionally. I'm just turning it on and it's like,
Boss It. I know what she's doing. We're adults. Right, we're adults, we're allowed to watch bossy videos, yeah? But you see, you young kids should be watching that, you should be reading your books, yeah? Or on your computer, like what you love to do, yeah? So, obviously, that's the one side of it. So, what do you think needs to happen to change it? Do you know what I mean? Like you're saying, with the whole raise a village and stuff like that, but don't you feel like we need things for young people to go, and if they have a passion or a goal or they have a hobby or a talent, don't you think that that's one thing that's missing as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Because I don't know, because I feel like now a lot of people are living on social media.
Yeah, on the phone.
Which is also causing a lot of anxiety for people.
Definitely.
Because, you see some guys who's like a 16-year-old will be seeing this 16-year-old entrepreneur on Instagram showing off his, flashy watches and stuff, and they're thinking, I'm not doing anything in my life.
Yeah. They feel a bit worthless.
Yeah, they feel a bit worthless because of stuff that they're seeing.
Yeah.
So I think, definitely there needs to be. I think we need to get them away from like the whole, and get them outside to be doing stuff.
One of the things that it's a perception, and it's a perception. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got a chain. I've got a gold watch. I mean, I've got a watch, a bust down watch, like they say, and all that kind of stuff. But what do you do to get that? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, all right, artists and stuff, that's a bit different. But even with them, they act like they've got X, Y, and Z. They're renting it, or they're going to the jeweler and saying, I need a watch for a video. Then you'll never see them in that watch again. But these young kids are looking up to them. Exactly. Our young people are very impressionable. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you've got X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to follow you. You've got a Gucci bag, so you know what? You must be killing it in life. I'm going to follow you. They want to pre-life. They're aspiring to be that. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Another thing as well is obviously music and videos and if you go on the radio and you put the radio on, a lot of the music that you're going to hear is drill, very low vibrational music. It's not, there's no, like you say, there's no cap. Like they say, no cap. They've made it even into a slang, no cap, fam. So like, there's no cap. People see that.
I'm always learning these new words.
Like, no cap.
Yeah, what's that?
No, we're not really like deep. That's what it is. No filter. Anything goes, no cap. What
No,
it is, what it
yeah,
is,
yeah,
whatever. And no one cares no more.
Yeah.
And this is how our youngsters are looking up to these people, and they
Yeah.
want to be that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is why we need platforms like this, having people like you, other people. Like, I'm not saying everybody needs to come on here and have a story about X, Y, and Z. Some people might want to disclose trauma or speak about whatever. But it's about creating real platforms with real people that are just saying it how it is. And I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm this and that, I'm whatever. Like, we all have our own struggles, we all have bills to pay, we all have a life to lead. People that are looking up to us, you know what I mean? But I feel like people like you, myself, other creatives, we're very important with the development of the next gen.
Absolutely.
Because if we can be successful and create more platforms, I know for a fact that you'll be great. If I have got a group of young people who are creators and they want to do videos and stuff like that, I mean, you'll be a great person to bring along. Like, yo, Audric, I already know your background and what you could do from a young age. So, like, now you're 25, do you know what I mean? You've got even more life experiences. Come out your comfort zone. You went to uni, you went to London. So now you can pay it forth now and be able to show these young people that, you know what? This is the life that you want to live, because you can go to sleep at night and not worry about the local person kicking off your door because they want to take your stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because you're working hard for your stuff, and your stuff ain't out there like that. You don't need no bust down watch to do you know what I mean?
Do you know, that's exactly, you said something really important. I don't need no bust out. I think for people like us as well, it's about making sure we give young people the actual reality perspective, because I don't know if people my generation are any better, to be honest. Because even we people my age are still looking at some of these flashy stuff, and all people my age are doing the flashy stuff, right? And fronting, and I think it's about giving young people like a reality check of actually what success looks like, how it's actually maintained. Okay, firstly, how you define success for your own self. If it's financial, that's fine. But then actually, how do you get that? And how do you maintain it? And you know, the richest people actually, or the people with real money, are not flashy.
Flashy? They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know. They want you to know I've got $1 million in the bank, you mad? So everybody can come along and say, can with their hands out. Like, please, sir, can I have some more? Nah. It's like, even if you got to that level, it's about creating something so people can work for that and towards it. Because if you hand something to somebody, they're always going to come back with their hand out. But if you give them the platform and they build from it, then they have that sense of achievement for themselves, and they'll want more. They'll want more for themselves, not you give them whatever, and then when it's run out, oh yeah, Audric, millionaire, he can fund me. Do you know what I mean? He can pay for my new car. Oh, Audric, my fridge just broke down. You know what I mean? They'll always come to you, but if you can create a platform or something that these people can work towards, then they get the sense of the achievement. It's not, oh yeah, my man bust you, he give you the money for that. If it weren't for him, you wouldn't have been there. But hold on, no, give me a platform. But I had to work, I had to do whatever, I had to make the music, I had to sell what, I had to promote. And then it eradicates the fact of that person that funded you or helped you to get to where you want to get to. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think there's also something to be said about instant gratification.
Okay.
Like wanting something and wanting it now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like sometimes on social media, it's like people are putting too much expectations for them to be, I don't know, to reach a certain level of success by a certain age.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like it.
Don't work like that.
Most people actually only become that successful in their late 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
Onwards.
Definitely.
So
I always used to say that with the music thing. I used to say, like, yo, your people like your 50 Cents and all them kind of stuff, they bust at quite a late age. And it's only now you see 50 Cent, well, I wouldn't say now, I'd say obviously with power and all of that kind of stuff. That is what put him to that mogul level. Do you know what I mean? Whereas beforehand, he might have had a record label, little stuff businesses, but he got to that mogul level after he done power, and it's now he has the power. Do you know what I mean?
And also, funny enough, people who bloom late have it longer.
Yeah.
Even in, for example, even in film industry, people like Morgan Freeman,
Denzel
Washington, Samuel. No, these guys didn't break. Forget even breaking it. These guys didn't even start getting gigs until late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
But now, you know, Denzel's like, Denzel Washington's like, it's a household name. Then you think of other people who started really quickly, and we know there's something we said about child actors, how they start really quickly and they fall off the rails really quickly.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? So you have to, it's about giving, also, I think, giving young people that kind of reality check. Like, look at it. You're worried right now because you're thinking this guy and that made it, but quick money also goes quickly. So,
when you're in that fast lane, that goes say to young people, when you're in that fast lane living, it's like, okay, where did you get that from? Okay, you happy with that? Because I wouldn't be happy in sitting on a throne of other people's misery. I wouldn't be happy thinking, right, I've got 100k off making it off the road, but you know what? 3 junkies have died in that time. And they died of the product that I sold to them. But how are you going to live with your life?
Exactly, your mental thing.
It's going to catch up with you in the end. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Unless you got no conscience in you, or you're a full-on shallow person. And for them people, they're in a mess anyway because they got to meet the maker. And the maker will be like, oh, I got no use for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for the people that we might script, we might scrape, it might take longer to get to where we get to. But when we get there, we'll be able to enjoy the fruits of our labour. Do you know what I mean?
And you'll be able to sustain it.
And you'll be able to sustain
it. You know what to do.
Yeah, you've had them bumps on the road.
To know how to sustain it,
And you know how to sustain it.
And to be consistent with it as well.
And consistent as well. Consistent is a massive thing. Like people always think that now, it's just going to land in your lap. It doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean? No. Some people of privilege, yes, it works for them. It works for them like that because everything was already patterned for them anyway. They had businesses and whatever. That's not their fault in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? That's just the circumstance that was born into. But other people, they have to script, they have to scrape, they have to work like a next level to get to where they get to. But at least you can appreciate it more. Do you know what I mean? When you've got what you've got, or whatever, like he says, whatever you define success as. When you get that big-headed friend that comes over and like, but I've got this, whatever, you just look at them and think, well, you're just shallow. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, all right, you got that, but daddy got it for you, or somebody else got it for you. If you're in that position, be humble, and have gratitude. When you're humble and have gratitude, it don't matter if you had a little... Do you know what I mean? You're always going to be able to sustain it and have a good like heart and, you know what I mean, about, So, okay then, Audric. So I feel like we've covered quite a lot.
Well, 2 things, Sort of divest. We kind of went around the whole thing.
This way we like. Listen, people, just need to let you know, I don't script anything, It's just, I'd rather it just to be an authentic conversation with the blueprint of people having the opportunity, the platform to showcase what they're doing in their lives, you know what I mean? But what I ask everybody, because obviously you've already said what you've got in the pipeline. Do you have anything else in the pipeline that you'd like to touch upon?
Do I have anything else in the pipeline? No, really, no. It's mostly just the film stuff. So
just the film stuff and that.
Yeah, but I'll say, look, I'll say this. In terms of films, what I'm trying to do with the whole film thing is to share stories, particularly our stories that are not told.
Yeah.
There is so much of our story, even from Black history, or even stories that are already out there, but from our point of view.
Yeah.
You know, or underrepresented groups' point of view.
Yeah.
Either black men, black women, and that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to really bring out our stories to the forefront.
That's powerful.
And really, because I feel like, you know, there's so much stuff that we've done, even in our history. You know, I feel like our history is just so limited to when we see on TV, and it's so limited to like just the slavery or the struggling, the struggling narrative,
or being a criminal,
and kind of stuff. And I feel like it's so much more than that. So much more. Like if you look at what the Windrush did when it came to the UK, even if you look at African history before slavery, there's a bunch
We've been having a lot of conversations regarding like Windrush and stuff like that with some of the older generation and stuff like that. And I'm not going to say too much because I do want to get my uncle on here, but some of the things that he says blew my mind. Like just to the fact of him and my mum coming over from St. Kitts at the age of 7 and 8 and not having their parents, and him explaining how traumatic it was and such a culture shock of being around predominantly black people and then landing in Heathrow and my mum going like, Boy, I've never seen so many white people in my life. And it's mad because I was like, when I spoke to my mate, she was like, yeah, like the only time I had seen white people prior to coming to the UK is if they'd come and visit the country and they'd be on like a safari thing and go around and whatever. So just to be here, it was a culture shock. And from that, as for 2 young kids, that's a traumatic experience in itself. Then having to come over, we won't touch into that. That's another one, but that's going to be something for people to open up their mind. And for me, I was just like, wow, Mum, like, you're brave, because put myself in that position as a 7-year-old, having to travel all the way over to the other side of the world on my own with just my brother. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, when she got to the airport, my nan and that was there, but it was just such a traumatic thing. And it made me respect my mum even more and respect my uncle even more, and people from my background, to think, right, you come over here, do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So, okay then, so the last thing is then, Audric, what I ask everybody is, do you have a positive affirmation or a positive quote that you live by or have like stumbled across and implemented into your life?
Positive quote that I live by. I said I'm of faith, so there's a Bible verse that says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Okay.
That's my verse, which just means for me, I rely on God to give me the strength to carry on through.
Yeah, as long as you got your faith.
I've got my faith. Yeah. That's for me. But for those who probably are not religious, there's one quote actually which always sticks to me. It says, wherever you're at in life, your best thinking got you there.
Okay.
So,
yes.
So wherever you look at it, your best mindset is the reason you're there. I mean, obviously not everything is your fault.
Yeah.
But it's how you interact with that. I think looking at that mindset, looking at that quote makes me think, do you know what? Let me change my mindset so I can be in a different place.
Yep.
In life.
I like that.
Whether that's relationship, whether that's working, whether that's anything.
I like that. I think that's a very, very powerful quote, brother. So you got any more, or you're happy to leave with the two? You got more, reel them off. We always say that this part is a great part. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes people are looking for inspiration and looking for that quote that might just change something. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a quote, but if I just leave something with everyone watching, it'll be, do you know what? One thing I'll say is have self-awareness. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror and accurately depict yourself. Mm-hmm. Both the good and the bad. I know sometimes, we like to comfort ourselves and tell, no, it's okay, I'm just...
Yeah.
But no, look yourself in the mirror and don't be afraid to really give an accurate reflection of yourself, the good and the bad.
Good and the bad.
And take that and grow from it. Because I don't believe you'll ever be able to grow unless you're able to put yourself in uncomfortable positions and actually give yourself... I agree. So don't be afraid to do that. Yes, it's going to be a bit hard to do at first. It's going to be like, oh, what, really? Is that really me? Mm-hmm. I said, with the boxing, when my coach was telling me stuff, and I had to look in the mirror and go, wow, is that really me? But having done that has given me the discipline of where I am right now. Yeah. And the tenacity and the assertiveness and even just the mental, the good. Right now, I'm in a really good place.
That's good.
Mentally.
I always love to hear that. Man.
And that's really important. And I just want that for everyone. Mm-hmm. But go through the uncomfortable process to get there first. Yeah. And I think you'll see you'll find out your life will be doing well.
Mate,
that's the relationship that you want, everything that you want.
Perfect way to end. And I'd just like to say as well, just to touch upon that, is I feel like personally, I've learnt the most in my life from my losses. Yeah. I feel like the wins and the great things that you do, that's great. But for me personally, I don't do it for that. Do you know what I mean? I do it for the change. And when I see the change in somebody, that makes me happy. But me personally, myself, when I've done something wrong or I've gone through a dark time or whatever, that's when I've really got to realise who I am and test that strength of character. Because we all have it in us to pull through anything that we've been through. It's just sometimes we just feel like we don't have it because we look at other people and we think, but it's just not, but everybody has their own individual journey. Everybody has their own trigger points, and nobody has the right to tell you that, no, that's not how you should be feeling, or no, whatever. Like I'm saying, even when a lot of people go through grief, I always say that there's no time on grief. Yeah, it's on you. Do you know what I mean? You yourself. If you got that down day, have that day off. It's okay. One thing I say, I don't believe in it's okay not to be okay, because I always feel like there's light at the end of the rainbow, like they say. Do you know what I mean? When people say that it's okay to not to be okay, I think okay, it's okay to have a day off. I say it's okay to have a day off and say, you know what, today no, phone off, I'm chilling. But it's not okay. I don't think that it's healthy
to dwell in it. Yeah.
To dwell in it, that's the right word. It's not healthy to dwell in it, because when you're dwelling in it, then that's when the demons just get bigger and it starts unraveling, and then that's when sometimes, a lot of the time, that people mentally don't recover or lose who they are. Do you know what I mean? So keep that in mind, people.
And ask for help if you need help.
If you need help, ask for help.
We all do. We all need help.
In one way or another.
One way or another. Don't be afraid. Just ask for help. Those people will be there to help you.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
And even if they can't help you, if they're good friends, or if they have the knowledge, they might be able to point you in the direction where you can get the help in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you can, they can help you to walk a mile in your shoes. Boom! How did you mean? Don't appreciate it, yeah? Audric. Boom! Thank you very much,
That's a new greeting, you know.
That's a new greeting now. It's no more. Audric, thank you very much. It's me, Nathaniel James, your host with the most. Walk a mile in your shoes, in my shoes, in your shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes podcast, and we're out. Thank you.
That was good, man.
That was really good.
Good comment. James in there.
Come on.